Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick and it's the Friday chat type thing, which happens on a Friday. Well, we just about did it on the Friday. So if you normally watch these as soon as they go up, you're used to them going up at 6 o'clock, so apologies it's a little bit late. Events are sort of like caught up with me, but we're still keeping this thing on track. If you don't watch them live as they go up, well, it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. So hooray, 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 hooray. But it's good to have a bit of a relax, at least once a week, just to have a summary of the channel and talk about stuff that's happened. I prefer to do the Friday walks, and hopefully they'll be happening from April onwards. Even if I have to do them at night with a flashlight. Now that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? The Friday walk in the middle of the dark. That'd be pretty scary stuff, especially if there's like fox noises and other stuff that we do not know. So anyway, I hope your week has gone well. I hope you've enjoyed the videos going up on the channel. Its main idea is to beat stress. Did a couple of live streams this week, a ZX Spectrum one, which went without any problems whatsoever. And a Commodore 64 one, so you may have been there, which had all loads and loads of problems, like the emulator was running too slow, we had buffeting, and a whole heap of stuff was happening, failures there. We didn't have a power cut, so that's the one thing that didn't happen. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and although I wouldn't like to have too many streams like that, I did learn loads, and you learn how to cope and to talk over it. But always look on the bright side of life. I think in the last half an hour we switched over from Commodore 64 games to a Commodore Amiga, and everything seemed to fix itself straight away. So there we go. I might give Commodore 64 games a bit of a rest for a while. It seems to be a recipe for disaster until I get maybe a different emulator to look at the game. So we might go from Commodore Amiga to Mega Drive and vice versa for a little bit. So what games have we been reviewing this week? Well, you might have seen some, you might have seen all of them, you might have seen none of them, but you might be watching and catching up. But we always do 6 games, the recorded ones, and my favourites are probably Roller Coaster on the ZX Spectrum. It's a classic game that I haven't looked at for quite some time, almost up to 800 games now, so why did we take so long to get to Roller Coaster? But anyway, Colonel Bogey is trying to retrieve money that's been scattered around by a disgruntled employee who's left all the rides on. And as a kid, I know already I wouldn't have completed this game, but I just love exploring it, seeing all the different rides. It's a really inventive game, really fun to play, and Colonel Bogey looks a lot like Henhouse Harry from the Chucky Egg game, so that's probably why I liked it even more. The other game I liked was Bomb Jack Plus, which was a modern day mod, I think from a few years back. If you want to know a bit more about these games, do check out the videos. But essentially it was the original coding of Bomb Jack from Elite in 1986, I think, but just gives you some extra screens. I did prefer it to Bomb Jack 2. So they were my standout ones. Other games we looked at as well were Buccaneer on the ZX Spectrum. Quite a basic game, but really advanced scrolling, so that's interesting to see. I think from around about 1985. Locomotion on the Commodore Amiga wasn't particularly that good, but I've been told there's another game of exactly the same name by another outfit which is a lot better, so we might come to that soon, on the Spectrum or the Commodore Amiga. Kung Fu Master, a classic for a lot of people. It frustrated me ever so slightly, but it has to be said it's the best version, or the best port of Kung Fu Master that I've played. It's much better than the ZX Spectrum version anyway, which is a bit underperforming. It's a 2D horizontal scroller where you must fight your way against a number of opponents before you come to an end of level boss, and I never beat the end of level boss. It's obviously a tactic, but the problem with it is his energy keeps regenerating, which frustrated me a little bit. If his energy didn't regenerate, it probably would have been one of my favourite games of the week. But having said that, if you put in the practice, you'll learn what best moves to do in and out to actually attack him, and then you'll defeat him, then you'll get to level 2. So it's probably a great game in there, but I just haven't played it enough to get the most out of it. The other game which disappointed me is on the Super Nintendo. That was Race Driving, and the problem with it, I've been told it has about 4 frames per second. I'm used to playing it on the Mega Drive, which is a lot better, a lot smoother experience, and I think the Super Nintendo or SNES should have done a lot better with this game, this arcade conversion. But I've since been told there's a mod which ups the frame rate to about 30 frames per second, and that's really going to make a huge difference. So it utilises a special chip within the Super Nintendo, so I might have to track that one down to compare the two, because I didn't really enjoy this game, but with that mod, if the frame rate is upgraded to that amount, it's going to get heaps better. So I might have to come back to it at some point. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. So I don't know what you've been up to. I've been grabbing work-wise extra hours where I possibly can. So thank you for supporting me in the streams as well, and also to members, which we'll come to in a minute, because I don't want to work at a supermarket all my life grabbing hours here and there. Some weeks there might be loads of hours, some might be hardly any. It's rather unstable, but don't get me wrong, I'm glad that I've got it. A lot of people haven't got work at the moment, and I'm just pleased to keep doing that, but I'd rather be doing something else. So be grateful for what you got. That's what I'm saying. Don't always be trying to grab for something else, but dreams are dreams. It's always my dream to be able to do this full time. So I'll keep knocking out the videos, keep trying to improve. Gradually we'll replace this camera, as I say, and do other bits and bobs, but it's always about juggling the time, and it makes it a little bit tricky if you don't know what time you got the following week to juggle with. So this week I've been caught out a little bit, and that's why this video's gone out a bit later, but it's still going up. Hurrah! Hope you understand. So what other news have I got before I do the shout outs for the members? Well, I love the Formula 1, although it has got a bit boring the last few seasons, where Mercedes has been much better than anyone else, and Hamilton's been a lot much better than his teammate, and therefore he wins the championship almost by default. So after a certain point, Bottas might be close to him initially, but after a certain point, then all bets are off. It's the Hamilton championship. Now, there's been 2 practice sessions for the first Grand Prix, which is in Bahrain at the weekend. Practice session 1, practice session 2, which often is a good indication of how quick the cars are for the race. Now, I don't know if Mercedes are holding back because they weren't the quickest car on the grid. I'm pleased to say that Aston Martin seem to be quicker than they were on the initial testing days, but they're still not at the front. But Max Verstappen in the Red Bull was quickest in both sessions. His teammate Sergio Perez wasn't that close to him, but maybe he's still learning the car. So yeah, I mean, it's also going to be fully revealed in qualifying, where the teams are really going to go for it, and then that's when we'll find out was anyone holding back at all. But it is unusual for a Mercedes to hold back, at least in the second practice. You'd expect either Hamilton or Bottas to top the timesheet. So maybe it's going to be an exciting season. If Mercedes ends up being a similar speed car to Red Bull, obviously it's going to be Hamilton versus Verstappen. I'd like to see Sergio Perez get in there involved as well. I'd love to see Bottas get involved, but he's got a bit to prove for me. He doesn't seem to be as quick as those other 3. But you never know. We can hope for the best. So if you're into your Formula 1, it's going to be a treat this weekend. The first race always tends to be the most exciting because it's the most unknown. You don't know who's the quickest. I don't think Aston Martin are near there. Alonso's team, Alpine, it used to be Renault, they seem to be a little bit off the pace, but who knows. We've got Mick Schumacher and Michael Schumacher's son in the Haas car. They seem to be at the bottom of the timesheets, maybe duking it out with Williams and George Russell as well, but who can tell what's going to happen in the race. So qualifying is on Saturday, and I'm not in work on Saturday, so I'll be watching that, and I'm not in work on Sunday. Hooray! And there we go. I think I was at work 15 days in a row, which is that's just crazy talk. But a lot of them weren't full days, so there we go, 3 or 4 hours, some of them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Grand Prix. Yes. So let me know what you think about that and your predictions for the race. I sneakily think Hamilton's going to win the first race again, and maybe Verstappen second, and let's say Perez third. Let's say so. I don't know where Bottas will come. That's what I predicted. So Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez. Okay. Great stuff. So thank you to the members that are supporting the channel. If you want to find out what that's about, click on the join button. It does help me a great deal. If you click on the join button, it doesn't commit you straight away. There's 3 different tiers if you just want to help basically, and that's really big help. It starts at $1.99, and there's other tiers which include shout outs. We get a shout out in this video, and then maybe in future videos, if I get a bit more time, I might include you in other bits and pieces. I can shout out any websites you're doing, any games or any projects you're doing completely, and I'd love to do that. So I'm grateful of all tiers, but tier 2 and above you can get a shout out, unless you don't want me to. And if you don't want me to shout you out, if you want to be anonymous, that's the beauty of the memberships on YouTube. It doesn't give you a long list you can look down. So if you want to remain anonymous, then obviously let me know in the member section, which you get access to. Okay, so big thank you this time round to Jason Smith. Thank you, Jason, and Squidworth. Now I've seen you a lot of times in the most recent live streams. Thank you there. Stuart Laycock and Natty Nicky, thank you. Claire Johnson, James O'Grady, thank you very much, sir. John Roby and Jeffrey Searby. Steve Norman, and I always give Steve Norman's a blog a bit of a shout out. He seems to be upgrading it, doing a new blog once a week at the moment, so I'll still shout it out even if he doesn't do that or drops below that. But this time I had a quick look on there. Haven't been too sport for time this week, but it was retroarcadia.blog. That's retroarcadia.blog, and this time he's looked at a ZX Spectrum homebrew, one I haven't covered yet and haven't heard of before, called White Jaguar. It was part of a competition, which I can't remember what competition that was, but from the screenshots he's included, that looks like a really great game. So that's White Jaguar. If you want to know a bit about it before you play it, or see if it's worth downloading, then check out Steve Norman's site at retroarcadia.blog, and he gives it a bit of a rundown as well. Excellent stuff, so well done, Steve. Keep up the good work, sir. Brilliant. Also thank you to Lemmy Barnett. Steve Q, thank you very much, Steve. You've been a massive help, so thank you. Phil Hill, Rossi Bossy, thank you. Now I put Rossi Bossy's site up there. You might very well be aware from other weeks we've been following the progress of Rossi Bossy's game, Super Pixel 3D Grand Prix, which just keeps getting better and better with each graphical update. There was an Indiegogo campaign due to start this week, but that's been slightly delayed, I think, for time issues or technical issues, but it's still pretty much there. Just looking up on Twitter, because Rossi did give me some information about this. Let's have a quick look on here. So the Indiegogo campaign has been delayed until next week, so I'll probably shout that out next week, give you an update there. Here's some important bits though. The price of the game, which you'll be able to pre-order via the Indiegogo page when that's up, will be £3.49 each, it says there, and £3.99 through Steam. More information soon. So that's a good indie game to get into. If you want to know a bit more information about that, if I had more time in this video, I'd give you some clips and stuff. But if you want to know a bit more about that, on my Twitter stream, Jenkins7Nick, I quite often retweet a lot of Rossi stuff, or follow Rossi directly on Twitter, and he'll give you updates straight away when he does them. But putting in a lot of work there, I'm sure it's going to come to big fruition. I do a lot of the voice work on there as well, but believe Rossi's also trying to get a female voice artist to do some of the menus. That'd be quite good, and I think there's a new tune recently got in there as well. So it's starting to have everything. I am liking the sound of that aqua tunnel in the game as well. So that's going to be really, really good. It's not a bad price as well, so you can have a bit of fun with that. Gives you a bit of retro play and Formula 1 just in time. Well, it's not an official Formula 1, but it's that sort of genre, and more fun, I think, just in time for the Formula 1 season to get you in the mood. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Thank you, big thank you, always, to Chono Baggy. Thank you very much, sir. Jason Holmes, Andrew Gibson and Grey Holt too. Thank you, fellas, really, really appreciated. All of you are on the second tier, and everyone gets access to the members section. So if you want to drop me a line, there's Twitter or that section as well. And also as well, a massive thank you to everyone on the top tier. You've gone above and beyond, and this is the sort of thing where I get close to thinking, can I do this full time? So thank you. There's 5 of you at the moment, so that's good. A nice crowd there. Thank you to Martin Rymel. Thank you. Richard Mitten. I know you more and more. I see you in the stream, so thank you there. Tom, thank you. And my friend from Australia, Graham Webke. So I hope you're doing well, Graham. I know you're really busy at the moment, but thank you for finding time to watch and support the channel as well. Really appreciated. And also as well, huge thanks to Julie Monkton. I don't always expect you to, but quite often you would do vidcaps of the live streams as well. You don't have to do that, but I'm glad that you do that when you've got the time. So don't knock yourself out, but thank you. And talking of Julie, we've got a website to shout out. It's back to one we've shouted out before. It's myoldtoybox.weebly.com. That's myoldtoybox.weebly.com, which deals with old toys and the like. There's a special site within that called what's-this.html, so that's what's-this.html. So I've got a bit of information about that as well, which Julie sent me by a message on Twitter, because I found not to remember, so thank you. Okay, so Julie occasionally comes across retro stuff and toys that she can't find any information on to research. So this is a bit where you can help on that site. So if anyone on the channel or watching her site there can help her out with some info about random promotional cars or the occasional strange piece of jewellery that she comes across, or the occasional weird book, then that would be greatly appreciated. So it's things that Julie comes across. You can't immediately find information, but you might have had it back in the past or know something about it. So, you know, be a bit of a clever clogs, go in there and have a look, see if there's anything you recognise. That's myoldtoybox.weebly.com and then /what's-this.html. There we go. Thank you very much there. So, as we say, I'm a little bit behind where I need to be, but still up to date in the short future. So, the 2ZX Spectrum games will be up on the channel tomorrow, so I hope you enjoy those, going up at 10 and 3. Members will know exactly what those videos are going to be, and on Sunday I'll put up a new members video letting you know what games will be reviewed in the following week, because that's one of the perks. So please consider that if you won't miss the money there. It would help me a great deal to make this thing super good. And also on Sunday there'll be a couple of retro games as well. So thank you for listening again. Take great care of yourself. I'm now going to crash out in front of the TV, trying not to fall asleep, maybe with a big gallon of tea and another couple of Lucasades if I can find any, but I think I might have drunk it all. But anyway, take great care of yourself. Until next time, which will be fairly soon. A very fond goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye, E.
And Jenkin.